Hello, gamers, and welcome back to a very special episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl podcast. I'm your host, Doom Cutie, and today I am joined by Kristen Cummins. Welcome to COAG.
Hi, how's it going?
It is going fantastic. Now, I have to give kudos to Kristen for being so flexible, especially leading up to a very important event, which we will get into very shortly. But yes, a lot of love and appreciation from this fellow gamer girl here for making time for COAG today.
Anything for you and the COAG community, of course.
Well, you know what? Let's get straight into it. So, Kristen Cummins, you are the esports operation coordinator at the Fuse Cup. That is a mouthful.
Yes,
and
it is.
and it should be for the work that you do. So for everyone out there listening, can you just give us a little rundown about your role at Fuse and what Fuse is?
Absolutely. So the Fuse Cup is a school-based esports program. We operate nationally in Australia, but we also do some overseas stuff as well, which is pretty exciting. We go over to New Zealand. We've been over to Singapore. Hong Kong is in our sights as well. And we also run some online competitions globally. And we have schools from Africa, Germany, like all across Europe, Eurasia, which is really exciting. We get them involved with our competitions too. So the main component of what we do at the Fuse Cup is, yes, we run esports competitions within schools. But we teach a lot of digital well-being as well. So we're partnered with the E-Safety Commissioner Office in Australia, which helps with the kind of cyberbullying, all that sort of stuff, and the Kids Helpline as well. So we teach a lot of positivity within the gaming space, lots of things about how to protect yourself online and how to feel safe online as well, focused around gaming experiences for everybody.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that when we do think about esports, it is quite, I guess, multifaceted kind of hobby because, you have obviously got the competition aspect, but they do have to manage themselves because, these games are multiplayer online games.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it is just equipping them and empowering the kids to feel comfortable and confident online because a lot of them are jumping online and they kind of don't really know too much about it, especially if their parents aren't really into gaming too. Like that's when they can start learning some bad habits. So that's where we come in. We try to have a really fun day with them, give them a really positive experience, and just kind of essentially give them a sense of community. Like we have some values that we like to kind of not preach, but instill in them on how to interact with other kids from other schools, people that they don't know, and essentially just really enjoy the day. I mean, they get to get the day off school to go and play games. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Having fun along the way. So my job as the operations coordinator of the business is essentially to run everything. So I get to travel all around Australia and I get to run these events and run these workshops. I do a lot of different things and wear a lot of different hats within the company. But yeah, it's a privilege to work for such a great organization. And it's a very high caliber of competition that we have across Australia with our gamers as well, which is so impressive to see. These kids are absolutely insane and they're getting better every year, especially with the announcement of the International Olympic Committee announcing this year that they're going to do esports Olympics now. So that's super exciting, especially for me, because it means that everything that we're doing is giving the kids a better pathway if that is something that they want to pursue in future, whether that be streaming or being a professional esports player. But we do other things as well in terms of girls only competitions. So our Fuse Girl Gamer competitions we run in all major cities, and they are essentially a safe space for girls because we find that girls growing up, they are sometimes quite hesitant if it's quite male dominated, as there is that sort of persona, what's the word I'm looking for, stereotype with gaming, and that that's kind of just a boys club, or we don't really like playing Rocket League, so we're just kind of going to go over here. So we run female only or female identifying competitions where the girls can all come and interact with each other and have that safe space and don't feel kind of insecure or worried about being judged. So that's another thing that I'm super passionate about and that I really advocate for, because, it can start, it's about kind of getting through to the kids when they're young enough to feel like you have an impact too.
Mhm.
And yeah, having these girl gamer competitions just means that it's a safe space for them. It's a great avenue, and all of our competitions are open for everybody anyway. But we kind of just do this as more of a stepping stone, to help the girls feel like they have a space in which they can compete, or even just dabble in gaming, even if they're not competitors and they're just interested in it.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
space where they can just come and feel the experience and feel the camaraderie between everyone. And yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great time.
No, you're so spot on there, and I'm so glad that Fuse is, you know, creating such a supportive and safe space for gamer girls. I mean, we're a bit of a fan of gamer girls around here, and, but
I might
I
have read something somewhere.
yeah, I don't know, maybe in the title or something. I have noticed, especially across LinkedIn, I've seen a number of fellow educators who are creating these teams of girls or girl identifying students, and like they're having like great success. So honestly, hats off to all of you, because yeah, I mean, when we think about esports, we think about essentially what? COD, those massive COD competitions where it's,
Yeah.
there's the big smoke and lasers and, all, like it's very, it's loud, it's in your face. And you know what?
Yeah.
Go off. Like totally. I
Yeah,
get
pop off.
that. Yeah.
There was an
But
orchestra. I think it was like a Rocket League or a Rainbow Six game. They had like a full orchestra playing
oh
like
my
intro
God.
music. It was
That is
incredible. Yeah. I'm for
look,
it. I'm all about esports. That's all I do.
yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
but
like
like I guess young girls might look at that and be like, oh, like that's really over the top. But I think there's so many layers to esports, and hopefully through the International Olympic Committee, saying esports is a competitive field, and there are multiple ways you can compete. So that's
absolutely.
yeah.
And just the games that they have on offer too. I'm going to be really curious to see, because last year they did have the inaugural esports Olympics in Singapore, which
Mm-hmm.
is essentially where they tested it, to see
Mm-hmm.
if it will work. And I was very lucky to go over there, and I got to meet some of the players as well, the competitors, and just kind of have a chat to them in regards to like, how did you get here, basically.
Yeah.
But of course, they're all world champions in their own regard for their respective games.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of just about bringing that to the Olympic world stage. But everybody wants an Olympic medal. You hear that all the time with professional athletes.
Yeah.
It's just, it hits different when it's the Olympics. So to
Yeah.
start forging a pathway for
Yeah.
young kids to be able to have the ability to get there, it's a long road ahead, especially in Australia. We seem to be a little bit behind the curve with
It's that
esports,
damn
but
ping,
yeah.
it's the
Oh, to get you every time. Let's get
yeah,
that internet up and running, please.
for sure. No, that's okay. They'll just have to fly you out, like as simple as that.
Oh, yeah.
There was something that I did want to touch on, and I'm sure you've seen it. The latest news within the Australian government about introducing a world-leading legislation to ban children under 16 from social media. I have considered the implications that would have to things like Minecraft education. Do you think that this would potentially have an impact on esports?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And it's definitely something that's been explored by the Australian federal government for a couple of years now, especially
Mm.
with the Safety Commissioner Office that we are partnered with. So I definitely think there are going to be implications. I know the ABC did an article last year regarding any games that had a gambling mechanic were going to be banned for anyone under the
Yes.
age of 18.
Yeah.
So we've seen game developers having to modify the way that they structure their games, like, for example, what loot boxes they offer,
Mhm.
whether or not you can see inside them before you purchase them, all that kind of stuff to try to remove the random chance item kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of that is going to come down to social media platforms and game developers and how they can actually have influence in the way that they have that platform structured. So it
Mhm.
might be that you input your age and then you only see certain things. Like I know Instagram have already looked into something like that. Whereas if you input your age, that means that lots of different pages are banned. And
Yeah.
there's AI that helps protect you from, random people trying to interact with you or add you, people from
Mhm.
far away, or you can add certain people that they can't, you don't have an
Mm.
option to add you. So I think that as much doom and gloom as it kind of is, like everybody's kind of done this big like extreme overreacts, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
haven't looked super hard into it, but I do believe that it's not going to be as severe as people are under the impression of.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard because then how do you validate your identity and your age when you are young?
Yeah.
Um,
No, well,
and
that's another thing.
yeah, because I know like Roblox has mechanics where parents have to scan their ID to permit kids to like have voice chat and all this sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
whether or not the parents are the ones doing that, but still at the same time, I know a lot of adults that are worried about fraud that would be like, I'm not
Mm.
putting my details and scanning my license into a video
Yeah.
game. Are you nuts? So yeah,
Definitely.
so I think it's going to be a tricky thing to navigate. But I think at the
Mhm.
end of the day, it really just comes down to if these social media platforms and game developers want kids to be interacting in their platform, then
Mhm.
they need to make the exceptions to lead into it, because there are some pretty damaging like things that you can find within these social media and gaming platforms. Like I know
Yeah.
especially Roblox, like I've always considered that a game for young kids, but some of the
Yeah.
things that you can find in there is really
Mhm.
really damaging, and it's about, half the kids aren't even looking for it. They don't know to, but it doesn't mean that they don't have access to it, which I think is the big thing. So if they can kind
Mhm.
of block some of the access to it, I believe that that is probably like, the first step in it all. And that's, kind of the forefront of AI at the moment, is to start putting
Yeah.
those protections up for young Australians, or just everyone in general in the world. Anyone considered underage, is
Yeah.
just it's about how the platforms can make it work so that young people can use it, but use it in a safe way. Because at the moment, they can just say they're 18 years of age without putting
Mhm.
anything in, but they should still have the ability to use the platform, but just use it safely.
Yeah, and I think, the work that you do already with, young Australians, preparing them to enter not only a competitive space, but also, a space that is multiplayer and online. I think, that groundwork is so important because that's obviously going to, teach them what are the early warning signs of something that doesn't feel right online. So, I think already you guys are, you've already got a foot in the door in that sense. But there is a part of me that does wonder perhaps with the age verification and creating accounts and things like that, potentially that responsibility may come down to actually esports organizations, and they would only have that account when they are competing or something like that. If parents, obviously didn't want them to have the accounts as on a personal level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so if it's about like kids going out and competing in public spaces and like the ability of what they can access, that does make it
Yeah.
tricky if they don't have access to the full platform.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just kind of take it day by day and just see what the
Yeah.
actual, a lot of people are speculating, oh, this is going to be blocked and what's going to happen, and then
Yeah.
other people are like, it's kind of like there's no gray at the moment. It's kind of like, oh, this is going to be it's too
Oh,
damaging
yeah,
to
for
our kids,
sure.
remove everything, and then everyone else is like, no, we need to put this in because you don't understand what's going on. So I'm kind of just
Yeah,
waiting
true.
for something to pop up that's actually legitimate, because yes, it's all well and good to say that these things are going to be
Speculation.
implemented, but yeah, once the speculation's kind of settled, the people that are the decision makers essentially of this, they have to see both sides and find that happy
Yeah,
medium, to make it agreeable.
definitely.
Because at the end of the day, like, there's no way that game developers or social media platforms are going to just cut off half their market. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what the statistics are, but
Exactly. Yeah.
they're going to do whatever they can to still accommodate those users, because at the same time, like, and I think I remember a while ago I saw, like, it was probably just like a bit of a speculative article by someone. They did a video article, I believe it was last year, and they were like, hey, like, we're going to make a special fortnight where it's only available for kids up till 16 years of
Oh,
age.
I
And I
didn't
was like,
hear
wow,
that.
that's a really good idea. But then at the same time, I was like, hold on, I feel like that has ulterior motives, because then you're getting the data of these kids under 16 years old
Mm, mm.
and you're using that for marketing, etc. Because none of us read terms and conditions when we sign up for these games, especially the free games and the freemium games. Half the
Yeah.
time we're giving away like all of our
Well, I could
information,
have,
our email
yeah, I could have
addresses and
sold my
everything.
kidney,
So
like, and I wouldn't
yeah,
have known about it.
yeah,
Like,
you wouldn't know about it. That's it. You wake up in a bathtub full of ice one day and you're like, oh,
uh
that damn terms and conditions got me again.
that
So
fortnight.
yeah, damn Epic Games
Look,
get you every time. But
no, honestly, like that's just more recent news that has come to light. So thank you for answering that. But yeah, you're right. There's still a lot of grey out there, and hopefully, you can just continue doing the amazing work that you do with these young Australians. And I personally am very excited to be in attendance of of one of your competitions this coming
yes.
weekend. Kristen, please tell everyone about the event that's happening this Friday and Saturday.
Yes, so excited. I literally just got goosebumps. So,
Mhm.
all throughout the year, we run competitions all over major cities in Australia, and the students that win those competitions all receive a golden ticket invitation to come to the
Oh,
Gold Coast at the end of the year to compete. So that's what this big Fuse Festival and Finals is about. So we have students flying from all over Australia, and they're all going to come to the Gold Coast. So we're supported by the Gold Coast City Council. We are a Gold Coast-based organisation, so it just works for us to host it out of our hometown.
mhm.
So we're going to have hundreds of kids come to compete against each other in their respective games that they won locally, to find out who the best of the best are and be crowned the Fuse either state champion or national champion from there. But we are also holding an esports in education conference as well, which we are thoroughly excited to have you speaking at with all your incredible wisdom, and of course advocating for girls in gaming, of course, as
Yeah.
well. So that will be happening too, which we're really excited about, because we have a very stacked panel of some really great esports influencers
Mhm.
from not just across the country, but we have some guests flying in from Spain, from America. We've got a gentleman coming from Sweden. We've got the president of the New Zealand esports organization coming in. So it's going to be a very, very exciting conference that's happening. It is focused, of course, around the education, because that's the space that we're in. Because,
Yeah.
as mentioned, obviously with the IOC, and what that means is that there's going to be hopefully some school programs in the future that are more supportive with esports, and that there's more of a pathway. Same with any other sport. That's what we're kind of that's what we're working towards at
Yeah.
Fuse. But yeah, so the
Honestly, I'm just imagining, right? So you think about like sports competitions, you think about like on a teacher level, right? So it's always like the PE teacher, they get to go, they get to take their kids, overseas to play hockey or like whatever. And I'm just imagining like the computer science teacher, the nerdy one who gets to like travel all over the place with their little school esports team. Like, come on, like
It's
that is
literally the
amazing.
dream. Like, it's so
Yeah,
cool. And I'm so excited as well that to see that happen in the future is going to be amazing.
yeah.
And that's what we get our competitions. Like, we have our like computer science techs all coming in, and
Love it.
every now and then we've got some time, we throw on a little teacher race, and they all, gloves come off then, and the teachers are all super excited to
Oh,
be
I'm
on
so
Rainbow
down.
Road again. So,
I'm
but yeah,
so down. Sign
um,
me up.
yeah, for sure. I'm really excited to see what the pathway is going to be in the future for that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
for sure. Um, and just one last thing before we go, Kristen. What is one time in your career that is the most memorable for you?
Ooh, Singapore was definitely up there, going to meet a bunch of different esports uh, athletes. That was pretty
Yeah.
high up.
Mhm.
Uh, I think Probably one of my favorite ones was I was at a competition in Queensland, and it was Just Dance, and there were a lot of girls in the room, which was fantastic to
Love
see.
that.
And everyone, so the way that they operated, they were in teams of 4 when they were competing from the same school. And one of the girls was so nervous to have her turn. She was like
Oh.
shaking, she was welling up, she was basically almost having a panic attack. And the
Mm-hmm.
camaraderie between her teammates, they all got up there, they all danced with her. The teacher and I got up and we danced with her as
Oh,
well. Um,
stop.
it was just an extremely wholesome moment because all the other competitors and everybody, like, they all kind of banded together, and everyone was just kind of all vibing and all singing the songs, and like just having like a really great time. Like, it's those moments that are just like irreplaceable. Like, it really validates what we do, and it just gives me so much fulfillment that I can go in and I feel like I'm helping these kids in these times that they're going through, and
Mm-hmm.
using esports or even gaming as that avenue to do that and have that effect. And it was so cute after, because I ended up having a little fan squad. So next time I saw them at a future competition, they'd all drawn little pictures of me and like gave me,
Oh,
like, snuck them to me. And yeah,
that's
it was just an
great.
extremely wholesome moment, and it's just so important to band together and show that camaraderie, not just with girl gamers, like with everybody
Yeah.
in gaming. That's the
Yeah.
positivity that we try to spread within our gaming, but at the same time, like, it was really wholesome to have that moment pretty much in a room full of girls where we could all just kind of express ourselves and help somebody through a really really challenging time when they were going through a lot of anxiety. To have everyone kind of band together and get behind this person and support them was, yeah, it was incredible to see.
Oh, I've got the warm fuzzies now, and I'm sure everyone listening has that as well. It's honestly so wonderful to hear that you have had those experiences with the children, with the students that you've been working with. So, bravo to you, Kristen, and all the work that all Australian esports organisations are, you know, encouraging our young Australians to go down this path and develop really vital skills that can help them not only in esports but in their lives. So um, that's all that we have for this episode, Kristen. And if any of you listening would like to know a little bit more about what the Fuse Cup does or want to follow any of their socials, I will have them linked to this video. So please do check them out, give them a follow, cheer along their little teams. It's honestly so wholesome to see the little videos and pictures and stuff like that. So, and who knows? There might be a gold medalist amongst them. Who knows?
I wouldn't put it past. We had a different esports facility on the Gold Coast as well, and funnily enough, the 16-year-old boy that won the shooting category in the Olympics last year in Fortnite, he was one of our students. So
There you
um,
go.
there you go. And it can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone. The really great thing was he spoke at our conference last year as well. So it's really great to have such high caliber of Australian esports between all these young kids as well. This is what
Mm.
I love to say, though, is like they're all 15, 16 years old. Like, there's a professional Rocket League player that I know that went and competed over in London twice this year, and he's 16 years old and he's so much taller than me. I remember the first time
Well,
I
that's
met him.
not hard, Kristen, but
Yeah, I know, I know. But I was just looking up at him and I was like, "Hello, sir. How are you?"
hello.
Hello. Yes. But no, it's an incredible thing, and thank you
Yeah.
so much for everything that you do as well. It's really great
Oh,
to see the
shucks.
community that you've developed. And yeah, I just love girls in gaming. It's such a cool
Yeah.
thing, and it's just so great to see so many females getting in this, and males as well, supporting women in gaming, and it's just a
Yeah,
really bright future for us all.
it certainly is. Once again, thank you so much, and everyone. I'll be gallivanting around the Gold Coast this weekend, so I have no idea what that will involve, but I'm really looking forward to it. This will be my first interstate talk, so really really excited and really honestly it's a privilege. So yeah, I'm totally not nervous at all. So look,
You're gonna be amazing as always.
Thank you so much. And thank you all to our listeners across the internet. And we will see you next time for another episode of Confessions of a Gamer Girl. Bye, everyone.
Bye.